So, today's topic is when you break no contact with a narcissist. When you've decided to go no contact, and either you've accidentally or maybe purposely decided, you know what, I'm going to break no contact, which means I'm going to contact them. And if you're like me, sometimes you have to, for reasons that you have children together, or maybe you have some property together or business together. Sometimes you have to go low contact. I want to use an example, an analogy. I want to tell you a story about some friends of mine, and actually they were friends of ours when I was married to my wife. But they had a German Shepherd, a dog that, and I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. I've had dogs all my life since I was a little boy. And dogs are just great because, you know, they have empathy and they're always happy to see you. And I can't tell you how many times I'll see a dog and I'll just like forget where I am. I'll just melt, right? And I'll just go over and pet that dog, especially if they're a really cute dog. Big dogs, little dogs, it really doesn't matter. But for the most part, dogs really love me too, right? And so I remember going to our friend's house. It must have been about 8 years ago, and our whole family was over there. My kids were there too, and they had these two dogs. But I remember this one dog in particular. It was a German Shepherd, and they said that this dog was a great watchdog, great protector, you know. And the dog came in and was a little bit timid, and I thought, okay. Because I had a German Shepherd when I was growing up that was great. I mean, just Leo was awesome. He would just like hang out, want to go on walks all the time, wagging his tail all the time, like a happy dog. And this dog at our friend's house was a little bit timid. We were all over there for a Friday evening, and so I reached out and I was like, okay, well, the dog wants to get to know me, so I pet the dog a little bit, and then I think we went outside. We were barbecuing or something, and then I picked up a stick and I threw it for the dog, and the dog kind of looked at me and looked at the stick like, am I supposed to get this? I thought that was kind of odd, but anyways, so later on we're messing around, you know, and I'm playing with my kids, right? And I'm throwing a frisbee or something, or a volleyball, I don't remember exactly, but I remember the dog coming up and like bumping me, and I thought it was bumping me at first, and then it bit my stomach. It like went up and just for a second, and then it kind of like ran off, and I was like, what the heck just happened? I mean, it hurt, right? I mean, when you don't expect it, you don't expect that you're gonna get bit or something. I mean, it's kind of it's almost like a shock, you know. And then later the dog did the same thing to my son, and he started crying. He was a younger kid, and I was like, what the heck is going on with this dog? And you know, and our friends were like, you know, oh well, you know, she does that a little bit, you know, like it was no big deal, because they were both raised on farms, and I guess they're used to animals biting and, you know, kicking or whatever, and for them it was no big deal. But for me, for our family, it was a big shock. It was a shock to me, and then my kid, and like 20 minutes later, the dog bit him too. And because up until that point, I mean, I've never really been bitten by another dog. Maybe I had way long time ago. I don't remember it. This one I really remembered because it had some pain associated to it. It didn't break my skin because I had clothes on, but it still was, I had like a nice little red mark there, you know, for a few days. And my son did too. Didn't break the skin. You know, I'm the type of person that, and I didn't do this with this dog, but a lot of times when I'll see a dog, I'll kind of squat down and I'll pet the dog, and I'll put my face right up in his face so it can lick me in the ear, right? You know, it'll give me a little lick on the cheek. And that's great. I mean, it's like a connection with the dog, and I mean, I can do that with old dogs, the ones that have stinky breath or whatever. Is if they're wagging their tail, they're friendly, I just go up and I just, you know, I let them kiss me on the cheek. And it's just great, you know, it makes me feel good and all that good stuff. So now what I want to do is I want to compare that to a problematic person, somebody that is going to hurt you. So a lot of us think all dogs are great, right? All dogs go to heaven, whatever. All dogs are going to kiss us and just be so friendly with us because we have all this experience with all these dogs in the world. And of course, we logically know that's not the case. But for most of us, I mean, we'll put our hand out so the dog can sniff our hand, and then we'll squat down and let him kiss our face or whatever. Maybe some of you learn not to do that, but for a lot of us, I think until we actually get bit or something happens, we're pretty good, and we can usually sense too if a dog starts growling. If we get too close, of course, we're not going to put our face up there, right? So I think what happens with the narcs though is that the narc is a really nice dog when we first go up to it and we pet it or whatnot, and then it licks our face. In fact, it jumps on us, and it just really licks us all over, and just it's like a really excited dog, right? And since we have experience with other dogs like that, we put him in the category of this is a great dog. It's a friendly dog, so whenever we see the dog again, we know it's not going to bite us or anything, and so we kind of do that. But what happens with a narc is that, of course, we know what happens is they bite us, and then we don't expect it. But because we've got all these good experiences with this dog and this breed of dog, well, I know this is a breed of dog that doesn't bite, yada yada. We tell ourselves excuses. Well, this dog is not going to be doing this. This is just it was a fluke. Maybe it was scared. Yeah, that's what happened. There was a siren, and then it scared the dog, and then it jumped up on me and it bit my arm, because it thought I was attacking it or something. So we always chalk it up to if we had that experience with the dog and it's always been good, we try to find a reason why. Okay, well, maybe this one time because of the loud noise, maybe that's why it bit me. And so, because again, we've had all this great experience with this dog. Well, I want to fast forward a little bit because you kind of see where I'm going with the story. But I think what happens when we go no contact, we say, I'm not going to be near that dog again. I'm not going to, if the dog presents itself to me, I'm going to walk out of the room. I'm going to go somewhere else, right? And I think what happens is over time, we start convincing ourselves that, well, that breed of dog really isn't that good, or really is good, and they wouldn't do this. But what we have to do is get the information in our head that those breeds of dogs do attack, that they do bite their owners, they bite other people, they bite strangers, and we have to get a lot of that information in our head to know that that's what happens with this breed of dog. That breed of dog will do this. If it's done it this way, and others have had the same experience, you need to avoid the dog, okay? And we go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to avoid that dog. The time goes by, and then we start thinking, well, maybe that information doesn't apply to me, right? It doesn't apply to this dog because I've had this good experience with this dog. And even though everyone else says all this other stuff or whatever, however, I have read that in case a dog does try to attack you, you never reach out with a palm. You have a closed fist. You keep your appendages close to yourself. You don't look the dog head on, like I'm looking in the camera right now, head on. You turn sideways. You use your peripheral vision to look at the dog. Use the periphery. So that way a dog is less likely to attack you. So here's the thing. I think it is okay with a narc because a lot of us have broken the no contact. But if we've had enough experience, if we've learned enough about these dogs and how to protect ourselves, how to approach the dog, I think you can have these no contact encounters and it will actually help you heal. And what I mean by that is, as long as you're not going into that situation with that narc or dog, you're putting your face down next to the dog's bitten you before, right? You're going to get hurt again if you put your face up there, or you might not, but chances are you probably will. So as long as you put as long as you don't put your face up to the dog, and you protect yourself by using by keeping your appendages close, keeping a closed fist, you don't offer the dog a finger, And what you'll do is you'll go up and you'll observe the dog from a more clinical standpoint, instead of, oh, I just love dogs, and just put your face right down, right? If you can do it that way, if you do break contact, but you've had the knowledge and the experience, and you've got the training, now you've got the knowledge level now in order to approach it more safely. If you do it that way, then you can kind of look at it from a more clinical standpoint and observe the dog and say, oh, you know what? I was told to watch out for that. Yep, that dog's doing that. Yep, that's a sign that that's a troublesome dog. Yep. And so when you have that encounter with that dog, you've protected yourself. But also, I think for some of us, and I'm not saying for everybody, I'm not advocating breaking no contact. But what I'm saying is, if you have, for some of us, I think it can be very validating and help bring us some type of closure to know that we made the right decision to go no contact. Because, you see that dog again, and you don't really set it up, but you just happen to see the dog, and you're thinking, well, maybe that dog is, it doesn't apply, the rules don't apply to that dog. Maybe my dog's special, and, so you go, but you go there, it's just, when you see the dog, you look him from the side, you don't engage head on, keep your appendages close fists, and that way you're able to look at the behavior of the dog from a more objective standpoint, and let your gut be validated, let your feelings be validated, because you'll pick up things that you can't pick up in a book. You'll pick up things from your gut with your new knowledge now that, yeah, I'm right. That dog really is, troublesome. That dog would probably bite me again if I put my face down into it. And it might not, but you know what? I've got enough evidence now, because of all the books and DVDs and all the things I've listened to and read, that, yeah, I'm putting myself in a situation. So, because I can tell you from my standpoint, my personal experience with a narc, when I was going through the divorce, I was no contact. It was only through the attorneys that we were contacting each other. And I made a point of that. She reached out to me, though, and said, hey, the attorneys are costing us a lot of money. Let's see if we can work this out on our own. Well, I said, okay, but I did it with the training in mind, right? I'd read all about how narcs will try to confuse things, and the abuse will continue. In fact, it'll ramp up the longer they've been no contact with you, because they want to punish you back. I mean, I read all this stuff, and I thought, let's see if this stuff is right. So I opened up contact with her. I said, well, what is it that you want? And because she had initially said, let's talk about these 3 things. So I said, okay, well, here's what I'm looking at doing. And then what happened was, she added 4 and 5 things, and then she went back to this and said, no, that's not what I meant, and because of you. And so it was like this dumping of all this, how everything was my fault, and that validated me. So I didn't get hurt, because I was kind of like, I was in my peripheral vision stance. I was not engaging her head on, even though to her it looked like I was, but it validated my theory about her, that she was one of these problematic people, that she probably was a narcissist, even though she's never been clinically diagnosed. The important thing is that she had some problematic behaviors that weren't getting any better. So for that actually, and it still hurt. Okay, I didn't get bit, obviously, but it still threw me back a little bit, but not as bad as I would have been if I would have put my face down, give me a little kiss, have sex or something, So that point when I did break no contact, when I actually had contact, it lasted about 2 days, and then I went no contact again, because I realized, holy crap, yep, she's one of them. And guess what? It was a lot easier to go no contact for the next year, because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt after that 2 days what she was at that time. And then the more I read, the more I realized these people don't change. So you know what? She's going to be that way a year from now. And I've learned that, and that's what I'm sharing with you, is that if you have kids or something, you are going to still have contact, but very minimal. I mean, just keep it pleasant and don't say anything to them. Don't say anything. Just be polite. Observe but don't absorb. All that good stuff. But I hope you understand that for some of you, you're wanting to break no contact, but you're wanting to put your full face into the dog's face. You're wanting to reach out and pet the dog like the dog is the way the dog was when you first saw the dog, when you used to roll around in the grass with it and play with it, right? So, so that's my dog analogy. I hope that kind of makes sense. I was trying to figure out the best way to explain that sometimes it is okay to break no contact, but you have to be in a situation, you have to be in a position where it's only going to benefit you, and you might not know till afterwards, right? Your emotions may be saying, hey, we need closure on here, we need to get this thing closed, we need to find out if this person's really problematic or not. And so your emotions are forcing you to do it, right? Because you're still like kind of addicted to them a little bit. But if you have done it, if you have broken no contact, just look at it as a learning opportunity, like I just explained here, in that you're getting more validation for the truth. And the truth is, most likely, if your story mirrors a lot of the same stories in this group, or you've read about narcissism and it's the same thing, chances are the results are going to be the same thing too, right? The people that are already 1 or 2 years out ahead of you are giving you advice saying, it's not worth it, don't go back to them, they don't change. So those people are just trying to share the word, share the information they have with you. And if everything is pretty much the same as the behaviors are with the people that are already 2 years further down the road with the same behavior that they experienced, they're trying to give you the information that keep your, don't go back with them at all. But this is your past, right? This is your past that, okay, I broke no contact. Okay, what did you gain from that? And hopefully for a lot of you, it's more reasons to keep the no contact up, to be healthier in the future. Because sometimes we can read all the information, like going into a flight simulator. It's good, it trains, and pilots can get their whole training from a flight simulator, but there's still something different about experiencing it in the real world. And sometimes you'll be presented with the opportunity to do that. And that opportunity is there, if you look at it the right way, the opportunity is there to help you heal faster in the future when you have more closure, when you have more validation that, yes, the information that you're getting from the simulation, from thinking of other people, from seeing their situations, from reading about them, when all that makes sense to you, and then you put it into the real world scenario where you observe it with your narc, you say, wow, they really do have these patterns, holy cow. Then that may be all you need, So hope this helps. We love you guys, and stay no contact if you can. I think you can, though. You really can. I know it's another weekend coming up. If you're hearing this now, it's Friday, but weekends are a weak moment for a lot of people. But just stay the course, and Monday you'll be so happy. All right, love you. Bye.